You've been doing everything right. You're maxing out your 401k. You've got some money in a Roth IRA. You've run the calculators online, and they tell you that if you save another $200,000 by age 65, you'll be fine. You'll have your nest egg. You'll have Social Security, maybe a small pension, if you're lucky. You've done the math 100 times, and every time the number works. You'll have enough. But here's what keeps happening to people, just like you. They retire with exactly the amount they planned for, and within 7 years, they're back to being stressed about money. Some are even broke. Not because they overspent on vacations, not because the market crashed, but because there was a number they forgot to add. A big one. And here's what I eventually figured out. Almost no one talks about this number until it's too late. It doesn't show up in most retirement calculators. It's not part of the magic retirement number articles you read, but it's one of the biggest expenses you'll face after you stop working. My name doesn't matter, but my story might. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not selling you a course or an investment fund. I'm just someone who spent years thinking I had it all figured out until I watched my own parents retire with what looked like plenty of money, only to panic 3 years later when the bills started piling up in ways they never expected. That's when I started digging. And what I found changed everything about how I think about retirement. So, if you're over 50 and you've been religiously saving but still feel uneasy, this might be why. Let me introduce you to two people, Mark and Linda. Both are 54 years old. Both live in Ohio. Both worked middle-class jobs their entire adult lives. Both have around $380,000 saved between their 401ks and IRAs. Both plan to retire at 67. Both ran the numbers and felt good about their future. But here's where their stories split. Mark planned for everything he could see. His mortgage, his car, groceries, utilities, maybe a trip to visit the grandkids once a year. Linda planned for all of that too. But Linda also planned for the invisible passenger. That's the metaphor I want you to hold on to, because when you retire, there's something that gets into the car with you. You can't see it at first. It doesn't make noise, but it's there, and it's heavy, and it's expensive, and if you don't plan for it, it will drain your retirement funds faster than anything else. Let's fast forward. Mark is now 68. He retired 1 year ago. He and his wife are living off Social Security, about $3,200 a month combined, and pulling another $1,500 a month from their retirement savings using the 4-pen rule. Total monthly income, $4,700. Not bad, right? But then the bills start coming. Medicare Part B premium, $175 per person. That's $350 a month. Medicare doesn't cover dental. His wife needs a crown. $1,200 out of pocket. Medicare doesn't cover vision. New glasses. $400. Then his doctor prescribes a medication that's not fully covered. $90 a month. His wife has a knee issue. Physical therapy. $60 copay per session, twice a week. By month 3 of retirement, Mark realizes something. The invisible passenger? It's healthcare. And it's costing him nearly $1,100 a month, sometimes more, that he never calculated into his retirement budget. Let that sink in. $1,100 a month is $13,200 a year. Over a 20-year retirement, that's $264,000. And here's the kicker. That's assuming costs stay flat. They won't. According to a 2022 Fidelity study, the average retired couple aged 65 will need approximately $315,000 in today's dollars to cover healthcare expenses throughout retirement. Read that again. $315,000. That's not for long-term care. That's not for a nursing home. That's just for premiums, copays, prescriptions, dental, vision, and out-of-pocket medical costs. And most people, they have no idea. Because when you're working, healthcare is mostly invisible. Your employer picks up most of the tab. You pay a little out of your paycheck. You go to the doctor. You pay a $20 copay. It feels manageable. But when you retire, Especially if you retire before 65, you're on your own. If you retire at 62, you've got 3 years before Medicare kicks in. Private insurance during that gap can cost $800 to $1,500 per month, per person. Even after Medicare starts, it doesn't cover everything. Not even close. Medicare Part A, free for most, covers hospital stays. Medicare Part B covers doctor visits, but you pay a monthly premium. Medicare Part D, prescription drug coverage, another premium. Medigap or Medicare Advantage, extra insurance to fill the gaps. You guessed it, more premiums. And none of this covers long-term care, which is a whole other conversation. This is the invisible passenger. It's sitting in your retirement car whether you plan for it or not. Now let's go back to Linda. Linda did something different at age 54. She didn't just calculate her retirement based on living expenses and fun money. She added the invisible passenger to her plan. She researched healthcare costs. She called Medicare. She talked to people who had already retired. She learned that she'd need about $300,000 to $350,000 just for healthcare over a 25-year retirement. So she adjusted. Instead of planning to retire with $900,000 in savings, she aimed for $1.2 million. She delayed retirement by 2 years, from 65 to 67, to let her savings grow and to get closer to Medicare eligibility. She maxed out her HSA health savings account every year and treated it like a second retirement account because HSA funds can be used tax-free for medical expenses in retirement. By the time Linda retired at 67, she had $950,000 in her 401k and Roth IRA, $78,000 in her HSA, and a plan for healthcare that didn't eat into her lifestyle budget. Linda accounted for the invisible passenger. Mark didn't. And now, at age 68, Mark is stressed. He's cutting back on things he wanted to do. He's worried every time he or his wife feels sick because he knows what it might cost. Linda, on the other hand, sleeps well. Same starting point. Different outcome. All because of one number. Let me show you what this looks like in real dollars. Scenario 1. No healthcare planning, Mark. Age 54, $380,000 saved. Contributes $12,000 a year to 401k until 67. Average 7% annual return. Age 67 total, approximately $925,000. Retirement breakdown, monthly income need, $5,000. Social Security, $3,200. Withdraw from savings, $1,800 a month. That's $21,600 a year. But healthcare costs $1,100 a month minimum. That means his real monthly budget for life, food, and joy, $3,900. And that's tight, real tight. Every unexpected medical bill creates panic. Scenario 2. Healthcare planning, Linda. Age 54, $380,000 saved. Contributes $12,000 a year to 401k until 69, works 2 extra years. Contributes $7,750 a year to HSA, family limit. Average 7% annual return. Age 69 total retirement accounts, approximately $1,095,000. Age 69, HSA balance, approximately $38,000. Retirement breakdown. Monthly income need, $5,000. Social Security, $3,400. Slightly higher due to extra work years. Withdraw from savings, $600 a month. Healthcare costs, $1,100 a month. Paid from HSA, tax-free. Her real monthly budget for life, food, and joy, $5,000. She has breathing room. She has peace. Think about that for a moment. 2 extra years of work. 1 smart account. 1 invisible number planned for. Completely different retirement. The one that says, here's what nobody talks about. The financial industry doesn't want to scare you. So they show you the happy number. The one that says, you need $1 million to retire. Or save 15% of your income and you'll be fine. But they don't break out healthcare as a separate, massive line item. Because if they did, you'd realize that a huge chunk of your retirement savings isn't really yours to spend. It's already spoken for. It belongs to the invisible passenger. And here's the even harder truth. If you're 50 or older and you haven't factored in $250,000 to $350,000 for healthcare, your retirement number is wrong. Not a little wrong. Dangerously wrong. You might look at your account balance and feel secure, but that security is based on incomplete math. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying it because it's better to know now than to find out at 68. But how do you actually survive this if you're just learning about it now? Maybe you're 55 or 60 or even 63, and you're thinking, I don't have an extra 300,000 just lying around for healthcare. I get it. Here's the honest answer. You adjust. Strategy 1. Max out an HSA if you still can. If you're still working and have a high deductible health plan, contribute the maximum to an HSA every single year until you retire. For 2024, that's $8,300 if you're a family, plus a $1,000 catch-up if you're over 55. That money grows tax-free. It comes out tax-free for medical expenses. It's the most tax-efficient account you have. Treat it like a healthcare retirement fund. Don't touch it. Let it grow. Strategy 2. Delay retirement by even 2 years. I know that's not what you want to hear, but 2 extra years of contributions, 2 extra years of growth, 2 extra years of employer health care, and a slightly higher Social Security benefit can change everything. It's not sexy, but it works. Strategy 3. Plan for Medicare strategically. If you're retiring before 65, know exactly what that healthcare gap will cost and have a plan. Look into COBRA, ACA marketplace plans, or even part-time work that offers benefits. Don't just wing it. And once you're on Medicare, understand your options. Don't just pick the cheapest plan. Pick the one that actually covers what you'll need. The wrong Medicare plan can cost you thousands. Let me speak to 3 groups directly. If you're in your 30s or early 40s, you have time. This is your superpower. Open an HSA if you can. Max it out. Don't touch it. Add healthcare as a real line item in your retirement projections. Assume at least $300,000 in today's dollars. Run your numbers with the invisible passenger in the car from day one. You'll thank yourself in 30 years. One action, open or max out an HSA this year. One mindset shift. Healthcare isn't a maybe, expense in retirement. It's a guarantee. If you're in your 50s, you're not too late, but you're in the critical window. This is when small decisions create massive differences. Working 2 extra years, maxing an HSA, cutting one big expense now to boost savings. These aren't sacrifices. They're investments in retirement where you're not constantly worried about money. Run your numbers again. This time, add $300,000 for healthcare. If the math doesn't work, adjust now while you still can. One action, calculate your healthcare gap and open an HSA if eligible. One mindset shift. Delaying retirement slightly isn't failure. It's wisdom. If you're in your 60s or already retired, if you plan for this, you're ahead of most people. Stay the course. If you didn't, it's time for honesty and adjustment. Look at your budget. Separate your healthcare spending from everything else. Track it for 3 months. You might be shocked. If your numbers are tight, consider part-time work for a few years, relocating to a lower cost of living area, adjusting your withdrawal rate, being strategic about Roth conversions to minimize Medicare premium surcharges, also known as IRMAA. You're not doomed, but you need to be intentional. One action, track every healthcare dollar you spend for 90 days. One mindset shift, awareness is power. You can't fix what you don't measure. Here's what I want you to remember. Retirement isn't just a number, it's a series of numbers. And the ones we don't see, the invisible passengers, are often the ones that matter most. You can have $1 million saved and still feel broke if you didn't plan for healthcare. Or you can have 700,000 and feel secure because you accounted for every passenger in the car. The goal isn't to have the most money. It's to have enough for the life you actually want to live, without fear, without surprises, without running out. And that starts with seeing what's invisible. Now you see it. Now you can plan for it. And that changes everything. If this helped you see your retirement differently, consider sharing it with someone who's still planning. Most people won't learn about the invisible passenger until it's already in the car. You can help them see it sooner. And if you want to keep learning about the retirement strategies most people miss, subscribe. I'll keep digging. You'll keep learning. Let's build retirements that actually work.